Thank you very much. All right, welcome everybody to InVision tonight. We have a pretty full house that is super exciting. Maybe a quick round here because I'm really excited to see so many people, but I'm really wondering how many of you have already some experience with meditation or mindfulness practices. So please raise your hand if you have at least once in your life meditated. Okay, 1/3, still about a half of the audience has already meditated. That's really cool. And how many of you are here for the first time tonight? Okay, so lots of recurring visitors, some new visitors. Welcome everybody. My talk today will be about how we meditate and how we apply mindfulness at InVision. This is a rather new concept for us, but we have experienced quite a lot in the last couple of weeks and have learned a lot, which I would like to share with you tonight. But first of all, let's talk very shortly about InVision, especially for the people that are here for the first time. You guys may be wondering what kind of InVision or what kind of company InVision actually is. There you go. We were founded in 1995. We have 3 offices, out of which 2 are located in Germany, here in Düsseldorf. The secondary office we have in Leipzig, and we have a 3rd office in Chicago in the USA. We currently have 112 employees divided over those 3 offices, and we have some people that work remotely, so from home. And we have 15 nationalities in total. That is also maybe one of the reasons why meditation and mindfulness is actually important. This is, as you can see, it can be a challenging setup. Many different cultures, many different languages, different locations, time zones, lots of meetings that take place, many of those take place remotely, so via video conferencing, and this is also where mindfulness really comes in handy. And we have 2 products. That's what you see on the left-hand side. So we have a product which is called InJigsaw. That is a product for workforce management for contact and call centers. And we have a product called the Call Center School, which is a company that creates e-learning courses for call centers, which is where I work as a product manager, as you can see by my t-shirt. All right, if you have seen our office and you like what you see, or if you like my talk about mindfulness and you would like to join our team, or if you're just interested to see what kind of jobs we have open at the moment, feel free to visit our website, ivx.com/jobs at any time. All right, but let's first start with something that I learned about productivity and which I thought was actually a good bridge to start talking about mindfulness. Consider yourself a writer. When are you actually productive? And what I learned pretty early on when I started working is that you're actually not productive when you're just a super fast typer, for example, which would be one metric you could use for a productive writer. But that's actually what I was doing when I started working. So I had the experience of working as a freelancer, so that meant every hour that I spent working, I was able to send an invoice for it, but I also wanted to, of course, be accountable for the hours that I invoiced. So when I started working in a full-time position for a company, I had the feeling that I had to be productive every single hour of the day. That I really had to work. I had to work, you know, creating stuff. But that's actually not what productivity is. And if we go back to the metaphor about the writer, when is a writer productive? He is productive when he is able to produce high-quality content, good books that in the end are sold to lots of people. That's when a writer is productive. But that also changes how you think about productivity. So it's no longer about being able to type fast. Otherwise, we could send a writer to a typing course. But a writer should be able to have focus when he's writing. He should be inspired when he's writing. He should have context with which he can talk to learn about topics about which he can write. So it's a lot of different topics that maybe I at first didn't consider as work, but in the end definitely account to the productivity of, let's say, a writer. And it's really these side effects that account to productivity, which I think that InVision has really identified and has really worked hard towards. And that's also why I think mindfulness is a big part in that story. But before we dive specifically into mindfulness at InVision, I wanted to tell you about a few other concepts that we have here at InVision that are really helpful in terms of productivity. So first of all, and you've experienced this tonight, we have professional chefs that work here and that cook really healthy food every single day. Well, that's super nice, first of all, because it's super healthy. I really don't have to think about myself, what I have to cook each night and to make sure it's healthy. But second of all, it's of course a huge time saver. I don't have to go out buying stuff, cooking at night, think about what I have to buy, which means I have more focus during work. Just gonna switch that. Right. Something else we do here is we do sports. So there have been yoga sessions that have taken place in the library. If you've joined one of our office tours, you will have seen the library and you might have recognized it. We have running activities that take place every week. And we also started doing after-work fitness in the park here in Düsseldorf. I have to be honest, this is not one of our pictures. The only picture we had was super dark, but I like this picture a lot. But it's actually exactly at the same location. And we do boot camp with a group of employees once a week. We have, of course, a super inspiring workspace that definitely helps when it comes to focus and creativity. And we have built our workspaces around the way we work instead of the other way around. We have adapted our way of working to the office space we have. We've done the exact opposite. This is actually my favorite room. It's our jungle circle. And it's really a perfect example of how we were actually able to do this. So everybody is situated exactly the same amount of distance from each other. Like there's no big long table where somebody is sitting at the head of the table and the rest on the side. And when you want to talk to the person on the other side, you have to scream. Like everybody's in the same circle. There is technology at present, so we can very easily call in somebody that's, for example, situated in the United States, and it's really as if he is in the room. There's lots of light, there's lots of nature around you, so it's just a very comfortable space where I have had lots of productive meetings in the past. We have lots of group activities, which we call open spaces. So 25% of our time we dedicate to projects that can be cross-team, cross-site, where we work on topics that otherwise were difficult your normal week's work, which is another example of productivity, really, because there's oftentimes, you're struggling with something or you want to improve something, but you're not really able to prioritize that against your goals that you're currently working on. By being able to allocate time within the week and even multiple complete weeks throughout the year where everybody comes to Düsseldorf, that's really a great opportunity to, first of all, learn new technologies, learn working with new people, and really be able to get those things moving that otherwise maybe you wouldn't have time to work on. And then there's the possibility to join conferences, so to get inspired, really. There's a couple of examples here of employees that have visited events in the past. I myself are on the bottom right there, where I visited the Inbound conference organized by HubSpot. But this is another example of how we can get inspired, how we can keep up with the latest technologies to make sure that we are delivering the most value as we possibly can. And that's also where mindfulness comes in. I probably have missed a couple of concepts that we have at place here that will increase the amount of value we can generate for the company, but mindfulness is definitely one of them. And what I wanted to share with you today is our learnings of 8 weeks of meditating. And the next speaker, Markus, has helped us during these 8 weeks. He was pretty much our mindfulness coach and has taught us new techniques with regards to meditation. And I wanted to share a couple of my personal learnings, but also wanted to share a couple of learnings that I've gotten from the team. So one of the things I noticed when meditating is when you see somebody else or when you see a picture maybe like this, it looks pretty easy. But actually it's not that easy. It's also not difficult. I mean, I'm sure everybody can learn how to meditate. But it's actually quite exhausting. You have to focus really hard on specific things, and there are different techniques that Markus will tell you all about in his talk. But I was actually impressed by it, that it's actually not that easy. It's also quite intense, so you can be quite exhausted after 20 minutes of meditation, let's say. That's totally not what I expected. Like, I thought it was more of a relaxing exercise, where afterwards you're full of new energy and you're good to go. But sometimes after meditating for 20 minutes, you can be quite tired, actually, because it was quite intense. And then there's things you notice during meditation, things you have never noticed before, and you weren't even aware of that you can notice these things. One example is during a meditation exercise, you sometimes have to check in with your own body and try to feel stuff that's going on in your body. And if you really put your mind to it, you can literally feel the smallest feeling in your little toe. Like, it's completely useless, maybe at that stage, and you never knew that your toe was sending signals to your mind, but if you are open to it, you can actually feel those. And it is this kind of mindfulness that can also lead you to identify other things in a professional setting, for example. So when you're in a meeting and you feel that you're getting annoyed a little bit, you know, it's a little feeling that maybe starts small, but if you are aware of it, you can actually do something with this information and change your reaction to it. And that's something that my little toe has taught me. And the last thing I learned that I wanted to share is meditation is not all about sitting silent like a Buddha and seem like you're completely in a different world. There are also different techniques that you can apply really during work or during your commute to work, or even when you're riding in the train to work, that you can do to practice your mindfulness skills. And these are called on-the-go practices, and I think Markus will also tell you something about it in his talk. All right, and then my last slide for me tonight, I wanted to share some of the learnings and some of the effects we have noticed here within InVision with a rather big group of people that have meditated for 8 weeks long. And I wanted to share some tips with you in case you would like to start afterwards practicing with meditation or other mindfulness techniques, what you can actually do to make that work. So what are the results that were reported? People have stated that they have a higher people feel more relaxed. They tell us they can see things more clearly. People notice what goes on in their mind and they can control their reactions better. They feel more balanced, they sleep more deeply, they react in a less emotional manner towards negativities. In general, attitudes have become more positive, and people have told me that they can relax faster when they're annoyed by something. So these are quite impressive results, I think, in only 8 weeks of meditation. Well, in case you are now also really enthusiastic about meditating, let me share also some tips with you that can really help. And I've asked my colleagues today to share some of their insights. And the one thing that really came up first is don't give up, which is also maybe testimony of the fact that it's really not always that easy. But everybody can learn it, and everybody has learned it in those 8 weeks. So just don't give up and keep on going. Practice often. If you make it a daily habit or a weekly habit, or at least make it a habit, you will definitely be able to increase your mindfulness skills. Just do it, even if you're skeptical. And I was actually quite skeptical at first. When I thought about mindfulness, I thought about almost a religious kind of act. But there are so many easy starts to meditation and to mindfulness that make it really easy to try it. And you can actually start feeling the difference quite soon. So just do it. What has been really helpful for many people is to pick a fixed time within your daily schedule. So for me, it is right in the morning after I finish at home and I'm really ready to go to work. That's really, I just calculate 10 minutes time, I sit down, I do meditation, and then I go to work. So it's really attached to my anyway daily rhythm, standing up, brushing my teeth, getting ready for work. And now really I've just added one more task, and that is 10 minutes of meditation. Be patient. You will always encounter distractions during meditation. You will encounter days where it's just not going as well as maybe the days before. But just be patient as you just keep on trying. Find yourself a buddy. That was also a big part of the 8 weeks of meditation that we have done. We had a meditation buddy with which we checked in every day to see if you have meditated, what you experienced during meditation, and then once a week we came together as a group and exchanged ideas, experiences, which is also really helpful. And that's also where lots of these tips were shared and people got tips that improved their meditation skills. And finally, last tip, a good place to start would be with a guided meditation. And there are lots of apps out there that you can try with guided meditation sessions. And maybe Markus will even do a little guided meditation session today. But there's also really a recommendation from my side that makes it much easier if somebody is guiding you through the exercises and tells you really what to do and what to focus at. All right, if you have any questions afterwards, feel free. I will be hanging around here with a beer, so feel free to approach me and ask me your question. Then let's go to the next speaker, Markus Wittwer. He is a real guru when it comes to meditation and mindfulness. He has been guiding us for 8 weeks through the process with a lot of success, as you've seen. He has a background in software development, but he is also a certified Search Inside Yourself trainer, which is the program from Google. And he goes by the credo that mindfulness is his way to stay sane and effective and happy even in the midst of all the craziness within organizations and within the world. So give a warm applause for Markus Wittwer.